Hello folks, welcome back to Learn Synthesis with VCV Rack. I'm your host, Dr. Lawrence W. Moore. In this episode, we'll be finishing our journey through the KautenjaDSP modules. In this episode, it's not a video game emulator, but it's a pretty cool module that models the Mutable Instruments Edges module that is in physical Eurorack. Mutable Instruments is well known for its great modules for physical analog Eurorack systems, and this little module gives you some unique sounds that are really quite interesting. So we're going to explore that for a bit and hopefully have a little fun on the way. Okay, so here we are. This module right in front of me, and in front of you is the module in question. This is a model of the Mutable Instruments Edges, and it looks like it's called blocks. As you see, it has the GUI design of many of the KautenjaDSP modules. But a different sound because it's not emulating a video game sound from Nintendo or Sega or the different chipsets that a lot of this library models. This is modeling a real life physical analog Eurorack module by Mutable Systems. I looked at some pictures of the module online, the physical one, and this does indeed have the same kind of design, although the GUI looks a little different. The knobs are different sizes and stuff, but it has all the inputs and outputs that the Mutable Instruments Edges has. That Edges does have the 4-channel design, and these outputs say wave, but there is a selector here for what kind of waveform they output. There's 3 different types of tones, and there's, I believe it's 2 or 3 different types of noise that it can output as well. I put in a delay to have a little fun later, but right now I have the mix down so we won't really be hearing any delay. It's basically bypassed. And the VCV module for an ADSR. So anyway, let's just hear it. There is our tone. Now, if you're listening on a cell phone speaker or a laptop speaker that's built in, you may not be able to hear what you would hear with headphones. There is like a bit of a noisy little rattle to it that is in some ways kind of inviting. I am actually, just for our purposes here, going to see if we can filter it out in case one desires to. I'll just use the VCF from VCV here, and I am going to put the input in here, and I'm going to take the output from the low pass filter, put it in here, and I did hear this before adding the delay, so I know it's part of what the module is doing. So let's see. Yeah, we can definitely get rid of it. Let's see if we can get some of the harmonics and overtones in. There I hear the noise. Right there I do not. It is a polyphonic module, so you can play chords if you set your MIDI module here to polyphony. Yeah, I had it up there for an instant, and then there we go. So I have like, what is it, 3 notes? I'm recording this right after my previous episode. It's 4 notes. Yeah, that's good. So, and you can hear already there's a richness to the tone that you can't say, well, that's a sine tone, that's a square wave. It's kind of like an enriched sine tone, like, and that's probably why you hear a little bit of higher frequency noise without the filtering. It's basically almost like putting in a bit of a drive. It's modeling, a physical analog module there. So I'm going to bypass that so that we can hear some of the other tones that are part of this. I'm bypassing the filter so that noise can come through, but that will be also good for hearing how the other tones sound. Yeah, the excess noise isn't, I mean, it's there, but the richness of the overtones kind of covers it up a bit more. It almost sounds a little gamey like some of the other KautenjaDSP modules, but there we go. Yeah, this is the indicator light as to which one you're on. They're color-coded. And then, there we go. This is the one with a real high frequency. Like some really upper harmonics that are kind of like pushing through. And then when you go to red, you're on noise. I'm going to play a low key on the keyboard and then a high key on the keyboard. So there, I mean, you don't hear pitch, but you hear frequency region as you change pitch with the notes that you're playing. And you could kind of like play a cluster. That was like upper range of the keyboard, then lower range. So you can kind of get a good what would you call it? Accentuation of certain frequency ranges in the noise that you are getting from the channel itself. And then this is a second type of noise. This one seems to have a faster period to it. The randomization of the frequencies is going faster. Although that seems to adjust with pitch, but it is definitely a different flavor of noise. And then, yeah, it looks like there's 3 of those. Let me try that again just to make sure. Yeah, there are 3 different noises. Yeah, that one has a real clear periodic repetition to it. That might sound cool through the delay. Let me turn up the mix. So, let's try different delay time. Since there's an attack peak on the envelope, we are hearing a pronounced attack on it, and that carries through in the delays reiterations. So anyway, now that we've heard all the different audio that each channel can produce, we do have 4 channels here. And once again, arrows indicate that the input does carry over, so we can go to here, and our gate will carry over to our second channel, and we're going to hear two tones now. But they're so lined up with each other that you can't really differentiate them, but as I often like to do. And of course, the LFO can clean out the higher frequency stuff in there, as we've already discovered. And adjusting the amplitude can I was thinking bass here. And you could put a second envelope in to shape the upper, the tone that's not pitched down, and kind of like shape that the presence of that frequency, so that maybe you could have it only in the attack, and then the rest of the tone has the upper frequency out. I'll just kind of like freehand it here. Yeah, kind of like that. Now, let's see how this sounds. Turn up the amplitude all the way again, combining different tones. I don't know if I successfully clicked on it. Hold on. Oh yeah, I did. There's the first one, starting tone. Oh, I was already on a different tone. Look, see, I was playing with this before and I didn't initialize everything. Yeah, so I was on the second tone there already with higher frequency material in it. Yeah, these two on the first tone, the green tone, with the octave tuning and the LFO to get rid of the high frequency noise. Gives you a nice round bass sound. Although with too much of the higher frequencies taken out, that could sound really muffled in a mix. That actually sounds all right like that. Okay, so I'm going to bypass the LFO again so that we can try out more tones with higher frequencies here. Oh, I'm trying to click the indicator. There we go. And then this one, we can let some of that tone through and cut out some of the noise. I mean, once again, if you're listening on headphones, you'll be able to hear it. Maybe not so on like a built-in speaker. Yeah, all these things in KautenjaDSP sound old-timey, but it's cool. Now let's hear this one. All right, but that upper harmonic that it fires out there is a bit rough. But you could use the amp here to attenuate that and work with it and so forth. Let's try, well, I don't know about noise, but Let's do it anyway. We'll pop this on one of the noise settings, but attenuate it with the amp knob there. So I'm going to actually make this initialize it so it's no longer detuned. And then I'm going to put this on the red tone. That makes an interesting sound effect. Yeah, since I attenuated a bit, yeah, this is best to be heard on headphones. Wow, that's kind of cool. Try the other noise tones here. That's more staticky and sounds a little more random. Wow, it certainly does add a bit of fuzz to it. Let's initialize that. Let's go with 3 tones now. Oops. And what we're going to do is put you back on that. All right, now these are all 3 the same. I'm going to try to do this accurately. Divide by 2, go down the octave. And you multiply by 2. Now this is still on that first tone. And we are not distorting here. So if this is somewhat additive, it sounds like it is attenuated enough that it's not overloading here, but I am hearing things sound much fuzzier. Now let's try some different tones. Let's put the center one on the and put this one on the pretty cool, really old-timey sounding. Let me detune this instead of being an octave. Okay, let me initialize that. I mean, that was a pretty cool sound. I'm going to initialize these. And I'm going to put audio output there. I mean, we could really have 4 tones here. Might be a little bit overkill, but we can use one of these as like frequency modulation on, let's say, this one. That sounds pretty cool. That is a pretty cool sound. Now let's put some frequency modulation on second oscillator. If you don't mind, mouse. some cool stuff there. Now let's change these carrier oscillators waveforms, or at least one of them. Ah, not the noise. Yeah, that harmonic really sticks out there. So I'm going to put these back on the first tone setting. Oh, look, our one modulator is already set. Now, once again, if you're hearing headphones, you're also hearing what I'm hearing, like some swishy upper frequencies there from the noise. Let's see if I can filter those out. I'm going to actually try putting some resonance on that. Too much. Yeah, it's taking me back in time. Wow. Okay. Well, that's noise. I probably wouldn't want to do noise with both of these. We'll try the other. But yeah, when you change the modulators to other tones, you're not going to hear much of a difference. All right, let's put on the delay a little bit. Yeah, as you can see, this can be very useful. All right, better stop there. I'll start composing a piece. Incidentally, what I will be doing now that I'm bringing Series 3 here to a close is there will be a Series 4 where I go on to explore more modules. But I want to do a series, well, first of all, also on Ableton Live, learning synthesis with that. But at the same time that I'm doing that, I'll alternate one day to the next with maintaining VCV Rack and developing instruments. Not developing software instruments, I mean, you know, developing patches that can serve well as instruments and talk about different instrument types. Because that's one thing that's been kind of missing as I go through this tour of different modules and libraries. I'd like to get to that where I could have like an episode on square bass sounds, focus on that, or an episode on brass sounds, kind of like synth brass, 80s brass, or different things like that, where each episode is a different kind of like area of sound, and talk about the different modules in making them. And as I continue into Series 4 of Learn Synthesis with VCV Rack, as I explore different module sets and so forth, I might revisit some of those and so forth. So basically, that one I'm going to keep in one playlist. It's not going to be in these chapters like Series 1, Series 2, Series 3. It'll just be Episode 1 until however many it goes. And that way there'll be a long form playlist where people can check them out and explore them on into the future. Tone here a bit. That deadens it a bit. Yeah, it's kind of like a somewhat of an EQ. But in any case, yeah, a lot can be done with this module. Let me try one other thing. We were using 2 modulators there. And disconnect you. You keep wanting to make another connection, which is weird. All right, there we go. Let's take these 3 oscillators. This one, all right, now they're all tuned the same. Let's make sure they're all in the same tone. There we go. Green tone. This one I'm not going to use for sound. I'm going to use it as a modulator. Okay, let's turn off the delay here so we can see what we really got. I think one of these is slightly chorusing, so let's initialize all 3. No, that's how they sound together in unison. And they are all the same tone. Well, I am putting them through filter here, so. Oh, there's that noise back again. And it came back strong. Okay, so. All right, now let's modulate. Which one? How about the center one to start? Oh, these guys are. Now we can also adjust the modulation frequency, which I didn't even bother to do earlier. Let's do this one instead. Initialize. settings a bit. Here I am clicking on the indicator again. There we go. That's some old-timey stuff there. All right, and then some filtering. Yeah, that can get really gamey sounding, these modules from KautenjaDSP. Well, most of them are game emulators. Yeah, lighten up on the feedback there. And it sounds like game sound coming out of the TV itself back when we hooked them up to TVs and so forth. All right, so pretty cool stuff, especially for going for vintage, old-timey sounds. I know maybe Gen Z's not down with that, but you know, some of this stuff is pretty cool. So now that we've done that, I've announced what I'm doing next. So if you're not into Ableton Live and so forth, don't worry about it, because I'm going to continue with the VCV Rack and alternating days and so forth. So you won't have long to wait for more and more VCV Rack content. I've been pretty much doing videos every day. I don't know if I'll always be able to do every day. I may have to miss a day here and there, but yeah, you won't have to wait longer than a day or two for, well, 2 or 3, yeah, maybe, you know, like 2 days until the next VCV Rack. But I am going to focus more now on certain instrument sounds or types of sounds, that starting with things that are like clearly from the history of electronic music and the history of synthesis, and or things that have been well-established sound types, so that people can learn about how to make those. And of course, as time goes on, may revise some of them and go back to some sound types again. And folks that are following along can keep in contact with me in the comment section and let me know if there's some sound types you would like to learn how to do, or tweak, or things like that. Yeah, so until next time, if you don't mind, please hit that like button. But until next time, take care and stay free.